And a good example that I use to just kind of hammer home psychodynamic pieces from my own story that I want to share a little bit,
Sure.
because it's not always about being a dick. So I guess I want to make that point.
Sure.
So for me, in my early recovery, I was in a group. I was actually in a psychodynamic group after I went through AA and all that kind of stuff. And in this group, I was talking about my horrible addiction stories, right? About like, you know, being drunk, passed out, waking up in an alley, hooking up with random people, doing a bunch of risky behavior. And truly, from my perspective, I was trying to evoke compassion and care. I wanted people to feel sorry for me and be like, oh my God, that's so bad. Like, I'm so happy you survived. I'm so happy that you're here. Right. But as I was telling it, the group member, the group leader, who's phenomenal, he's a great mentor in my life. He was looking around the room and he was noticing that people were like backing away from me, right? Or like disconnecting or zoning out or like looking kind of uneasy. Because I was telling these stories in like pretty intense detail because I was just trauma dumping, right? I didn't have control really of how I was sharing the story. I was just like letting it out.
Mhm.
And what he pointed to, one of the women, it was a mixed gender group, one of the women in the room who I was trying to make a connection with and trying to have evoke this sense of care, and she was like very disconnected, and his intervention was basically like, hey, how are you feeling? She was like, I feel really disgusted and turned off and pushed away, and that moment was so powerful for me. That's what really opened my eyes to this type of work because I was like, wow, I really felt like this would work to like bring people closer to me.
Yeah.
And I was so clear that I was trying to get something out of the room. I was trying to get love or care or tenderness.
Yeah.
And what I was getting was the complete opposite.
Yeah.
And I share that example because I think a lot of men, focus on men, but I think a lot of people are in that where we really are trying to get something wholesome, but we get the exact opposite. And the brain, being that it's kind of dumb in some ways, we just try the same thing but harder. We don't try a new strategy. We just double down, and then it repeats itself, and then we end up kind of isolated and pissed off.
Yeah.
So that intervention really opened my eyes to this way of working with people.
Yeah. Love it. Love it. I love that example.